February 22nd. Hello everyone. Today we're going to be doing a garden update, but first let's head into the greenhouse to see what seedlings we got in there. I moved the seedlings from inside to the greenhouse so that we can look at them afterwards. I'm going to be taking them back indoors. This week, California, Los Angeles area, the weather is going to drop down to the 40s in lows. And if you're in this area, you're looking to start your plants, you can start tomatoes now. And if you have a heat mat, you can also start the peppers. Peppers really need a heat mat to sprout well. It's a good investment if you don't already have a heat mat and you're starting a lot of plants from seeds. These are the varieties of tomatoes and peppers that we're growing this year. There's one more variety new to us that we're going to try to grow, and that's going to be later in the year. That's the Amish paste tomato. These plants have been up potted from the Bootstrap Farmer smart pots, and these larger pots are Bootstrap Farmer pots as well. And then we have them color coded so that we can just tag one pot and then correspond the other pots with that tag. As far as tomato varieties, we have tomatoes in the garden that we started in late December, and those are varieties that tend to be able to produce tomatoes in the cool months. So those are the varieties we have outside. And then these are varieties that do best when it's warmer. And these tomatoes in the orange pots are San Marzano tomatoes. Most of these tomatoes are paste tomatoes. They're cooking tomatoes. Some of them are slicing tomatoes, like the Cherokee Purple. So we have 2 Cherokee Purple plants, and we have seeds that was sent to us. And we have some Craig Lehoullier Cherokee Purple. Craig Lehoullier is an avid tomato grower in the East Coast. He's well known. I didn't know about him until recently, until these seeds were shared with us. We have a Cherokee Purple that we save its seed from a strain that we save year after year. So we have that growing. We're going to do a comparison and see how the two are. My guess is the Craig Lehoullier is probably going to do best during the cooler months because of the East Coast climate. We're going to go back to, let's stay with the slicing tomatoes. So here in these lavender pots, we have the Mortgage Lifter. We have 3 plants. These are your standard red slicing tomato. And then Black Prince is another good slicing tomato as well. This is one that I grow year after year, and we have 1 plant. It's a medium-sized tomato, so it's like a Cherokee Purple, but medium-sized and round. Cherokee tomatoes are large and flatter. And then let's move back to the paste tomatoes. We have a couple of Blue Beech paste tomatoes. They make these large tomatoes. Sometimes they're long, and they're almost Oxheart like. So it's almost like a San Marzano and a Oxheart offspring, and it's surprisingly super productive. So that's why we have 2 plants. And then these pinkish pots, these are the Martino's Roma. So we have 6 plants. When I look at the pictures, these Romas are smaller than the standard Romas, and I'm thinking they're going to be great for early season when it's cooler. So we have those. And then the standard Roma tomatoes, I usually wait until now to start the plants, but I thought, well, let's try some as a comparison and see how they do. So we have 6 plants for ourselves, and then the other 6 we're gonna be sending them off to my brother's garden. And do we have any more tomatoes here? Nope, we don't have any more. And then the other things that we're growing are peppers, and we have some paprika peppers. These are the Magyar paprika peppers, and we grow paprika peppers maybe once every other year. We dry them and make paprika powder, so that's really cool. We also smoke some and make powder with them. This Magyar is a new to us variety. There is also Alma that we have. It's back inside. I forgot to bring out. The paprika pepper, this rocoto pepper, and the Craig tomato. These are seeds that were shared to us. This ricotta pepper. It's a Peruvian pepper. It's also known as the Marzano pepper. It's got a very interesting leaf. It's got fuzzy hair on it. That's really interesting because most pepper plants don't have fuzzy hair. And this is a variety that I've been trying to find and grow for the longest time. And I've gotten seeds before, but they never germinated for us. So it's really cool to finally find some seeds that germinate. These are now rare seeds. They're hard to find. So we have a couple of those plants. And they make these orange peppers. And you can make sauce with them. Peruvian dishes and stuff. So I'm very excited about that. And then we have a couple of Scotch Bonnet. These are the Jamaican yellows. They're great for making Caribbean or island cuisine like curry goat and stuff like that. And we're trying to grow more and eat more eggplants this year. So we have quite a few plants. These are seeds that were also shared with us. This is a hybrid variety, I believe. This is called Orient Charm. And we have a couple plants here. We're going to be seeing some more eggplants in the garden when we go outside. And then we have some squashes. These are our early sowing. We're going to sow 2 more this year at least. So this is our early sowing. This one is a yellow squash. This one is a scallop squash. It's the jaune et vert. It's the yellow and green. That's French for yellow and green, I believe. And then this is our Black Beauty Italian or Black Beauty summer squash. It's the one that I grow year after year. It's really good when you harvest it when it's about 6 inches. It's nice and sweet and buttery. And then moving over here, these are plants that we sowed in late December and then early January for the tomatoes. This is a hybrid. This is the early girl. So we have one that's already planted, and we need to find a place to plant this plant. In here we have a couple of the yellow jalapeno. This is the NuMex lemon spice. I thought it's very interesting yellow pepper. Those look really cool. And we have a couple. That means we need to find a space to plant these outside. This is a shinku eggplant. These are the long Japanese type of eggplants. That's a hybrid. And then these are bell peppers. We grew a lot of bell pepper plants, more than we probably need. So we'll see how that goes. We may have to pull them out if we need the space. So let's head out in the garden and see the other plants that we have growing. Down here is this orange bell pepper. And we're growing a new plant. One year we had this really massive, nice, thick-walled orange bell pepper. We saved the seeds and we're growing the plant. So hopefully we get that back. We didn't get any bell peppers last year. The plants just didn't do well. And these are some pepper plants that Burpee sent to us. And they're still growing. We may need to remove them because they're starting to be less productive. We'll see. This is another bell pepper plant. This is from a Ferry Morse rainbow blend, so we're not sure what color it is. We'll see. Usually one bell pepper plant is plenty, but we're growing at least 3 this year. We have a Yolo Wonder bell pepper. That bell pepper variety grows really well for us too. And our plant, after like 4 years, it started to be less productive, so we pulled that plant and we're starting a new plant. Here we have a couple of Costoluto Genovese tomatoes. These are the paste tomatoes. They're really flavorful and they can produce in the cooler months, so we're growing them early. This is a Black Beauty eggplant. They make these large meaty eggplants that are good for Parmigiana. And let's go into the garden here. Our mid-pride peach is really blossoming and we're starting to train it in a palier manner. That's a French word, where we keep it horizontal, and then we're weighing down this branch with this olive log here, and this glove here this old glove is to protect the branch from the weight. We don't want this weight to girdle the branch too much, so that's why it's there. And up there is our newest growing area. This is where we get a lot of sun. We're essentially below a slope, so that slope blocks a lot of sunlight, and then there are buildings that block a lot of sunlight. So here's where we get a lot and I think the peppers are gonna really love it. We're growing the New Mexico 64L hatch peppers, and to get big things, they usually need sun, so that's why we put our pepper plants up there, as well as the heading brassicas like cauliflower. That's why we have some of them right there too. And then onions on the top tier, that's the newest tier, we have onions. So let's go up there and take a closer look. And before we do, I'm probably gonna forget some of our summer squashes that we have here. If you saw the last update, this is our Black Beauty summer squash that we sowed in November. And I was just curious to know if we can grow some summer crops using a low tunnel. We had some extra poly sheets, we covered it, and it surprised us with not only living through winter, the coldest part of winter, but then it produced zucchini for us. I think it was January or even early February that I produced. And then this is a Kakai pumpkin. This is a hulless pumpkin, and I really like this plant because it gives us seeds without having to shell them. So we're gonna be growing them again this year, and they're gonna be growing where that empty spot is. We grew that last year. It's a bushy plant, so it's not gonna take over too much. So we're gonna be planting it up there. So let's go up there and see, take a closer look. We have this sprouting or loose cauliflower called the Fiorello 70. We grew the Tyson variety, and we learned about this from an Instagram friend, this variety, so we're gonna try it out. And right now it looks like a standard cauliflower. We're gonna let it mature some more, let it loosen up, and then we're gonna harvest it. And here's our row of the hatch peppers. We have 6 plants. It's a very versatile pepper. That's why we're growing so many. And we're trying a couple of things. Some of the plants we topped off, and then some of the plants we didn't top off. And the reason is because when you top off the plant, it grows these side shoots. It delays the pepper production, but then you're gonna get more side shoots to produce more peppers. And we want a large harvest because we can use them in dishes, but also we left some alone because we want an early harvest, and sometimes we just need one. So it's good to get one early, and then later on we'll get a big harvest to make a big batch of something like chilies, or you can slice them up, grill them, put them on hot dogs and hamburgers. This is our row of red onions. So these were transplanted yesterday, and with onions it's all about timing. I'm still trying to figure out when the best timing is. We just plant them whenever, and sometimes we get it right and we get some nice big onion bulbs, but sometimes we just end up with just the leaves. So that's one thing that I need to work on. And then in the strawberry planters, we have a couple more of the hatch peppers. So that's what we have up here. Let's head back down, and we're still harvesting papayas. This thing is still producing papayas. It's been a warm La Nina year, so we have papayas that we're harvesting. And I learned that papayas need a lot of water, so if we water it well, it'll produce lots for us. And the roots are pretty shallow, they're down here, so we make sure to water it. And in doing so, I moved the blueberry plant, so if we water the blueberry, any excess will go down and give it to the papaya. And here's our newest planter, the vertical planter, and we have some mint in here, and all this stuff is buckwheat. I like to grow cover crops. That way we can harness the energy of the sun, turn it into foliage, and then we'll turn it in and it'll break down into nice good nutrients for our plants. So here we have a mojito mint. This is a Thai basil, Siam Queen. This is the Italian basil. And this is just a variegated mint for fun. And then over here we have a standard mint. This is a Moroccan mint over here. And these leftover cubbies, we're going to be planting Vietnamese coriander and fish mint. Up here we're planning to plant some strawberries, and I have some cereal rye here as a cover crop. So that's what we have up there. And then we have some more of the tomatoes. So this is the Principe Borghese. It makes smaller tomatoes, so smaller tomatoes, they're going to grow during the cool season and produce early for us. So that's what we have. And then I'm going to let this plant make it's a it's a pole plant, but in Southern California, we have enough sun and energy to let the suckers grow into parts of the plant that will produce tomatoes for us. So I like to leave the bottom 2 suckers to grow. It'll spread out and give us more growth. And these top ones, we'll start picking them off. So that's what we have over here. And then over here, this is dragon's tongue arugula. And apparently the seeds are hard to find now. So they make these really cool leaves that are asymmetric. The leaves are different. No 2 leaves are alike. And then they have this nice red vein. So that's really cool. And then over here, we have another tomato. Let's see, this is the early girl tomato, the hybrid tomato. So it's here. Last year we put the Principe Borghese. It's a good spot. It grew really well. So this is a nice sunny location for this tomato. And we have it on this tomato ladder. This is a really nice sturdy ladder. And finally, let's give you an update on some of the projects that I've been working on in terms of making better use of this space. We built this wash station out of lumber that we saved or took as remnants from other people's project. A lot of the lumber here is from our old patio, including the hardware. The metal hardware is from our old patio. So it's nice to be able to put the lumber pile to use, take it and turn it into something that we can use for storage. Some of this stuff that's in here now was over here, and what I want to do is start to tidy this up and put some more potted plants in here. We have succulents, we have a Thai holy basil and other things. And then lastly, our chickens, they're starting to lay. So this is an egg that was recently laid by our Bantam Buff Brahma. The blue copper Moran, she started laying in late January, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, she's been laying. And then our Wyndotte, she's starting to lay her eggs too. So there's a nest box here because the chickens are always out here just pecking away at grasses. Here's our Buff Brahma. Our kids call her Roadrunner. And let's see where our blue copper Moran is. So the Buff Brahma, she likes to sit in the nest and take her time laying. The blue copper Moran, she lays and she pops out and she goes. This morning, the Wyandotte was wanting to have a nest box, so she was making a lot of noise. So I opened up the coop and let her in here, and she's just sitting in there. So this is our Splash Red Laced Wyndotte. And that's our update as far as what's going on in our garden and some of our animal friends that help us with turning a lot of our foliage and weeds into nutrients. They're composters, like our rabbits. And the chickens and the ducks, they lay eggs as a bonus. So that's all we have today. See you in the next update. Thanks for visiting. As always, have a good one. Oh, our blue Java bananas, making another set of bananas.